Breaking news! What if I told you that something quietly brewing inside the walls of Gillette Stadium could completely redefine what we expect from the New England Patriots in this new era? That deep in the offseason, when most eyes drift toward flashy draft picks or free agent headlines, a subtle but powerful narrative has started to form, one that's not only about football, but about redemption, leadership, and a team on the verge of transforming its identity from within. This isn't just about players. It's about the essence of the franchise shifting step by calculated step. Let's dive into the exclusive transcript. From behind the scenes, a revealing conversation between key Patriots insiders, headlined by Elliot Wolf, and what it tells us about the organization's current mindset, strategy, and future. What we're about to unpack is no ordinary press conference recap. This is a rare, transparent look into the Patriots' new front office voice. And what becomes crystal clear is this: the post-Belichick Patriots are not here to rebuild. They're here to re-engineer, with precision and humility. Elliot Wolf begins by acknowledging the unique weight of being entrusted with leading football operations, a role still not officially titled as general manager, but functionally identical. He mentions right off the top that he's been working very closely with head coach Jerod Mayo and Robert Kraft, confirming the cohesive triangle of power steering the Patriots' new course. There's an emphasis on alignment, collaboration, and shared vision, three words that might have sounded cliché before, but now feel critical in contrast to the sometimes rigid hierarchy of the past. Wolf emphasizes a patient yet aggressive approach. He doesn't shy away from the fact that the team looked extensively into trade possibilities for the third overall pick, acknowledging the calls they receive, but ultimately stating that no one came close to offering something that would make the Patriots budge. This wasn't a bluff. This was about conviction, and that conviction manifested in the selection of North Carolina quarterback Drake Maye. Wolf's words about Maye are deliberate and filled with intent. He describes Maye as a player with size, athleticism, intelligence, character, and repeatedly underlines that this was not a reach or a fallback plan. Maye was the best pick for the Patriots at 3, period. Wolf even confirms that Maye was the team's top-rated quarterback in the entire class. That's no small statement, folks, but here's where things get even more fascinating. Wolf refuses to declare Maye the starter. He confirms that Jacoby Brissett, Bailey Zapp, and even rookie Joe Milton are all part of the competition. He points to a team-oriented culture where nothing is handed out and everything is earned. This isn't just about optics, it's a philosophical reset. Even with a presumed franchise quarterback now in the building, the Patriots are sending a message: no shortcuts, no coronations. Wolf's approach is notably transparent. He doesn't dodge questions. When asked about whether he made the final call on Maye, he says yes he did, but not without reiterating the input of Mayo, Kraft, Matt Groh, and the full scouting department. This isn't one man's vision, it's a collective shift. Another gem in the transcript: Wolf is clear-eyed about the state of the roster. He notes the need for improvement at receiver. Despite adding Polk and Javon Baker in the draft, he praises their toughness and ability to separate. But again, no hyperbole, no pretending the problem is solved. The Patriots know where they're thin, and they're not trying to cover it up. On the offensive line, Wolf acknowledges challenges, but expresses confidence in the youth they've brought in. He highlights players like Caden Wallace, Layden Robinson, and the return of last year's rookies like Antonio Mafi and Saidi Sow. It's clear the Patriots are betting on internal development, but not naively so. Wolf also praises the defense's continuity. He calls it a strength, and confirms that this offseason was not about tearing down a strength to fix a weakness. Instead, the idea is to build gradually, layer by layer. He mentions how having Brissett, a veteran with experience, can help stabilize the quarterback room. It's not just about who plays, but who mentors, who sets the tone. One of the most telling moments comes when Wolf is asked if he's officially the GM. He laughs it off, saying he's honored to be running the department, but stresses that the title isn't important. What matters is that everybody knows who's making the decisions. That might sound simple, but in an organization famous for opacity, this kind of clarity is groundbreaking. Wolf is also unafraid to discuss the process. He uses the word more than once to describe how the team evaluated players: balanced needs versus talent, and sought out football guys with character and grit. He says they didn't go into the draft with rigid positional targets, but focused on who could make the team better now and long term. He also gets specific when praising Drake Maye's makeup. He talks about Maye's growth mindset, his desire to learn, and the fact that he comes from a competitive, athletic family. These aren't fluff details, they're fingerprints on the Patriots' evolving identity. There's even a moment where Wolf is asked about the scouting process, and he candidly shares that he loves it, that he believes his background in scouting helps him understand how every every piece connects. You get the sense that this isn't someone chasing clout or chasing headlines. This is someone obsessed with building the right way. This is just the beginning of what this transcript reveals, and in the second part, we'll unpack how these decisions could impact the locker room dynamics, why Wolf's modest demeanor might be his secret weapon, and what the quarterback competition could really look like this summer. But for now, let's leave it here with a Patriots organization that isn't just talking about change, they're showing it, and it's happening from the inside out, with eyes wide open and no illusions. So what do you think, Patriots Nation? Is this the leadership approach you've been waiting for? Is Drake Maye the right man to carry the torch into the next generation? Let us know what you believe this new era means for the future of the franchise. As we dig deeper into the transcript, a recurring theme begins to surface: accountability. Eliot Wolf doesn't dance around tough questions when asked directly about the state of the offense. He admits it was obviously a focus, citing their ranking at the bottom of the league last year. There's no deflection, no excuses. He owns it. And that honesty might be one of the most refreshing and strategic elements of this new regime. Wolf mentions the importance of competition across the board. The message to the locker room is loud and clear. No one is safe, and that's a good thing. It's how championship cultures are built. And that spirit of internal competition is especially potent in the quarterback room. Brissett brings professionalism and a history with the Patriots. Zapp has valuable reps under his belt. And rookie Joe Milton is described as incredibly talented with rare physical traits. Wolf even notes that Milton was scouted as a potential starter, meaning this wasn't a throwaway pick. And then, of course, there's Drake Maye, the chosen one, but not in the mythical sense. Wolf refuses to set him up as a savior. He says Maye is a great kid who will benefit from being developed the right way, surrounded by a strong support system. It's a deliberate divergence from the throw him in the fire strategy many franchises default to. When drafting a quarterback high, the Patriots don't want to break Maye, they want to build him. That patience is underscored by Wolf's emphasis on structure. He highlights the coaching staff's ability to teach and develop, and he stresses that Jerod Mayo's leadership style, collaborative, clear, and player-oriented, will be essential in that process. And let's talk about Mayo for a moment. Wolf continually praises him throughout the transcript, noting his input on every major decision. This isn't window dressing. Mayo is being empowered, not just tolerated. Wolf even addresses the philosophy of their draft approach. He says the team prioritized football players, not athletes or combined stars. Guys with grit, with production, with something to prove. That mindset shows up in picks like Polk, who Wolf describes as one of the toughest players in the draft, and Javon Baker, who plays with a chip on his shoulder. These are not just receivers, they're culture setters. On defense, there's a quiet confidence. Wolf knows they have a top unit returning. That's why most of their major investments went toward the offense. But he doesn't take the defense for granted either. He references the versatility and depth they've built over the years, and how continuity can be an asset in a league full of change. He even brings up the special teams unit when asked about roster balance, proving that no detail is too small. That's vintage Patriots, but with a modern twist. Attention to detail.